California.
It was one of your, it'd be a nephew of yours.
Reed's son.
Reed's son.
Van D.
Yeah. Yeah, and I noticed that he has children that are in Sacramento. I've never met them, but I guess they stayed there. I'll look them up one of these days.
Well, do it. I don't know Van D's and Carol's family.
I think they probably raised them all over there,
and they stayed there, and they don't very often come over here. We're going to have an Ogden reunion.
We are.
First cousins.
Reed's
family's in charge of it, and they're going to have be at the Fish Lake at the Bowery Haven. The Bowery Haven or Fish Creek.
Okay. Yeah.
On the 20th of July.
That'll be fun.
And they send a notice the other day. Oh, don't film me.
Pretend like it's not here.
They sent a notice the other day on the email that they wanted us to respond how many would be there. They're cooking Dutch oven dinner for the family, and
oh, that's always fun.
my daughter is the 40th grandchild. Daddy's 40th grandchild, and it'll be quite a reunion. Reed's oldest boy, he's in his 80s, will be here from Tucson. So we're kind of excited about that. It'll be fun to see Phil. And
yeah, will be. Now you have a nephew that lives in Grass Valley.
Van D, or Paul.
That's Paul, right.
He lives in Cashurum.
Okay.
Paul and Carolyn.
I saw where he had posted some things to the new family tree, the church's program.
Oh, had
he? Did some pictures and things.
Well, they just came back from a mission not too long ago from
Nauvoo.
Yeah.
Why don't you, before you get going on this, why don't you introduce, just tell who we're taping. This is Doradeen, and
oh yeah, okay, well,
kind of give the lineage a little.
Well, okay, maybe Doradeen could introduce herself. Doradeen.
Oh, yes.
Hendrickson. Doradeen Ogden Hendrickson.
Yes. I've been Hendrickson since 43.
Yep, and her father was
Charles
Ogden.
Charles.
Her mother was Dora. Her name was Dora also, right?
Dora Ann.
Dora Ann.
Coons.
And she was a Coons.
She was a Coons.
Any relation to
Yes.
Anna D?
Yes.
Her
Dick
and
married Anna D, who would be
Dick's father was her brother.
Oh.
Anna D's father was a brother, right? That's what you said.
Yeah.
He married Josh and Bess. I think he was a
bishop.
bishop here.
He was the bishop.
Yeah. And then there's another Coons that married into the other Ogden, the William T. Ogden family.
That was Uncle Thomas's daughter, Bernice.
Yeah, Bernice. So, yeah. Well, the other day you were telling me about Grandma Tuttle.
Oh, yeah.
And you worked at the drugstore, right?
Yes. I worked at Manning Drug, and then they changed it to Hull Drug.
Okay.
I did. While Ken was in the Army, and for a while.
Yep. So that would have been early 40s. And
I guess when I graduated in 43, I was working in 43. Yeah.
But you used to save magazines for her.
Grandma Tuttle was the cutest thing. I just loved her. Of course, she'd come and stay with Dora, Dad and Dora. And, she liked true story magazines.
True Story?
And the drugstores, after a certain period of time, they just pull the covers off from them and throw the magazines away and return the covers to get credit for them, the paperbacks. And so I would bring True Story magazines home to Grandma Tuttle.
Oh.
True Story doesn't hurt anybody. So I did, yeah.
That's fun.
And Arlene and I got along great. We got along fine. We shared the same room and same bed and closets and
She's a few years older than you are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think she just turned 90.
I think maybe 90.
90.
And you're a little younger than
I'm
that.
88.
88.
So, you and Aline are
Stepsisters.
stepsisters. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
That's right, because her mom married Charlie.
My dad.
Yeah. Okay, that's right.
My mother died when I was 10. And I was a tomboy out on the farm.
That's a hard time to lose a mother.
Yeah, it is. But my big brother Grant kind of took me over and threw me on the horses, and I rode. And yeah, we had. Then I was 13 when Dad married Dora, and they had 20 years together. So.
And 20 good. They seemed very happy. Went to North Carolina, I think, twice.
Oh, I think so. I think she'd never been back to North Carolina. And Dad was willing. He put him in the Cadillac, and away they went. He always had a Cadillac.
And he liked to get one every 2 years or something, was it?
Uh-huh. He'd buy a new car, bring a new car home, and oh yeah.
Well, I think Josh liked his cars too, and he may have. I don't know whether he bought Charles' old cars or something when he bought the new one, but he liked his. He had a Cadillac, and I don't ever know. I know Dad would go on the milk route and he'd bring a new car home. He did when Mother was alive too. He brought new. He delivered milk in town in a buggy with a horse, and they say the horse knew where to go, and if he'd stop for a piece of pie, why, the horse would go on to the next customer. He'd have to run to catch up. That was one thing. In the bed and breakfast that Auntie had, he called her Annie. Okay. That was Josh's mother. That would have been Hannah.
His stepmother, uh-huh.
Yeah.
She made the best pies. And he would stop every chance he had to have a piece of pie.
Eva told us the same thing.
Did she?
Yeah, he'd say, "How much for a piece of pie, Annie?" And and then he'd eat the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. Everybody liked Dad, though. He was a sweetheart.
So
that buggy that he used to deliver milk in, that was my playhouse after they abandoned it. They put it down behind the dairy, back down in the trees, and I used to have a lot of fun in that old milk delivery truck.
Tell us a little about Dora. I don't know much about Dora Tuttle.
Well,
your stepmother.
Didn't Aline tell you a lot about her? She was a nurse.
I know that she was a nurse.
She delivered babies all over.
Her first husband died with the flu.
Is that what he died with?
Yes.
I didn't never know. I don't remember. Ernest was his name.
Ernest, right.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Ernest Peterson.
And his father was one of the original 10 pioneers in Richfield.
Mm-hmm.
Escalade, I think his name.
Well, so was George Ogilvy.
Ogilvy was also.
Mm-hmm. See, and he was my great-grandfather.
Right.
In the Coons.
Right. So. You had some real heritage there.
Did you know Homer, my nephew, Homer's son, David, is running for mayor right now.
Of Richfield?
Of Richfield.
Oh, yes?
It's announced in the Reaper this week. Now.
Well, he's a pretty popular guy.
Oh, he is, and he's a good guy.
He was he's very active in the Sons of the Utah Pioneers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you mentioned Hannah. What do you remember about Hannah?
I don't remember. I didn't ever know her.
Oh, you didn't? You just heard?
I didn't ever know her. That was...
No,
your dad talked about...
Hannah died in 1918.
Oh, did she?
That was before my day.
But did you know the other brothers, like George Ogden? Did you know George?
Oh, yeah, I knew George. George and Lizzie.
that her name, Lizzie?
Elizabeth, She was a beautician. I remember her giving my mother a permanent, and I went with her to have a permanent, and they had all these wires that fastened on your head and connected up to the machine, you know. But she was a very brilliant woman. She did a lot of temple work.
Oh.
I don't know that George did so much temple work, but I know his wife did.
What did George do for a living? Was he a banker?
He may have worked in the bank.
Okay.
I don't really know.
Yeah.
Thomas farmed. His farm was out where the golf course is now, in Richfield there.
Okay.
That's where his home was. Right there where they have the clubhouse.
That was Thomas.
That was Thomas,
And do you remember him much, or was that, you do?
Yeah, I remember Thomas, and we'd go out to the farm, you know, and he had sons that were twins, Ernest and Irvin, that were my brother Garth's age, and they were out to either their farm or our farm, but they buddied together a lot. Yeah.
Now, did they have one of their brothers marry a Tuttle, into the Tuttle family?
One of
I can't
one
remember.
of Thomas's children?
Yeah. The one, you remember the one that was killed in the auto accident by Salina?
No.
He was delivering propane or something and had a head-on collision.
One of Thomas's children?
Well, it was in Ogden. It might not have been Thomas's. I don't remember who it was.
No, I don't remember that.
Okay.
There's lots of Ogdens.
There's lots of Ogdens. Isn't
There's
there?
lots of Ogdens around.
Lots
Yeah.
of history there. But Dora was a very particular person, wasn't she? Very neat.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet she was. You had to scrub the floor just exactly right. It had to be cleaned in the corners and the mop boards and the...
I wonder if that was a family characteristic that they had. I know that Grandma Tuttle could sew. She really was a great seamstress. And they have to remake these dresses for the girls. And the girls, all Dora and her sisters, Lizzie, Georgia.
Lizzie and Georgia. And
who else was there?
What's some of the others? She had two brothers.
Well, there was
She
they
had
all
three
stayed. She had three brothers, Jay Tuttle and
Lee and
can't remember who the other one's
Jay
name.
and Lee, and the other was oh dear. His wife was Nora. They lived in the home in Glenwood. Bill
Tuttle. Okay.
Bill lived in the home in Glenwood that my husband's family had. That's where I lived while Ken was in the Army. I lived with my in-laws in Glenwood, and we lived in the home that Bill had later.
Did one of those boys marry a Hendrickson?
Yes, Leland.
Leland married a Hendrickson.
Leland married my husband's sister. Verona.
Okay, all right.
Verona.
And he sold sewing machines.
Faff. Nothing but Faff.
But nothing but faff, huh?
Yeah, I've got a Faff sewing machine that we got from.
That's a good sewing machine.
Oh, hey.
I have a friend of mine. That's the only thing she'll take.
Now, Lizzie was another one of the daughters, and she married a Hendrickson. That was her first marriage.
Yeah, she married. Let's see.
Sorry, I can't
I know him
remember.
well. I know him well and know where he used to live. He used to cut Ken's hair when Ken was a kid.
Okay, but then they divorced, and she had one of the girls stayed with her, and that
Verla.
was which one?
Verla.
Verla.
Mm-hmm.
Verla.
And the other two stayed with Grandma. Clay and Mary stayed with
his mother.
With his mother.
And he never remarried, did he?
He did never remarry, no. No.
So then Lizzie married with Daniels.
With Daniels,
And they had some children together. And
Berta says, I never did know where I belonged, whether I was belonged with in Denver with her two sister or brother, or whether she should. I know when they had a family group taken, the Daniels, why Berta didn't want to be in it because she says, I don't belong with the Daniels, I'm a Hendrickson.
Right.
I knew Berta, and she married Leo Breinholt.
Right.
And they lived in the same apartment house that Ken and I did when they come home. Leo come home from the army, and Ken come home, and Berta and Leo and Ken and I.
Aileen was telling us about the this was Warren Clough was telling us about the 220 Club. Is that what it was called? Where the veterans would go to the bank and the government would, while they were trying to get employed, give them $20 a week, or
it was 50-20 or something. It was
20-50 Club,
20-50 or something
like that.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
No,
That's where he met his, Anna Q.
Anna Q. Oh yeah, Anna Q.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever heard her play?
Yes.
She's beautiful.
I think she plays at all the funerals.
She's a good friend of Elaine. She played at a funeral. I went to. Whose funeral was it? Within the last couple of months, she played at the funeral.
Yeah, she's good. And Warren is a character.
You know Warren, do you?
I know Warren. See, he's the Clough side, or Melissa and my grandmother are sisters.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Bess and Melissa.
So you
and Teen.
You
probably remember Teen from Teen's Gift Shop.
And her gift shop, yeah. I felt bad when they tore that home down.
Oh yeah.
Because that was, I didn't think they were allowed to tear
I didn't either. It was on the National Historic Register.
Register, yeah. Ramsey was very popular, and he was an artist in his own way.
He was, yeah. He eventually went to
I think he called the first Eagle Gate in Salt Lake.
That's right.
Ramsey,
So he was in that United Order, as well as William Ogden and the Sons. Thomas was part of that United Order, and
for a while, and then William Ogden didn't think it was what it should be, and
it had its trouble.
And they left the order.
Bess would always say, we would have been rich if we hadn't have been in that United Order. The Ogdens could have just done their thing.
I asked Grant once what Thomas Ogden did for a living, and he says he was just smart enough to train his sons to be smart to work, and then he just lived off of his sons. That was Grant's comment.
Right, because he had that store, Thomas Ogden and Sons.
And the sons run it still.
You know where I think they made their money?
Where?
Doing the research they bought that in 1899, and by 1906 they were doing really well. Thomas took Hannah and went to England. I think that when the Kimberley mine was going, they were selling a lot of things to Kimberley mine.
Well, maybe
fresh produce.
From the store, you mean?
Yeah, from the store. And I think they had a lot of commerce with Kimberley.
Dad said they could sell anything but a thimble and a threshing machine. He said we sold everything.
It was just really the general merchandise store there, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, it was. There on the corner.
And they, I think that they closed about the time the Depression was going, because they had a lot of people had a lot of credit. They couldn't pay.
They didn't pay, and yeah, that's the way the dairy business was.
Yeah.
But Dad never refused anyone milk. He says those kids need milk, whether they pay for it or not. And
do you remember your grandfather, Thomas?
The only thing I remember about Grandpa is that when he moved back from California, lived in a little home there on Main Street, and we went down to see him, and he was sick. He was in bed.
He had a stroke in California.
And Daddy made me kiss him, and he had a mustache. That's the first. He made me kiss him.
Is that right?
It's your grandpa. Give him a kiss.
So you would have been
Not very old.
not too old.
Not very old. No. No. The big home across the street that they had, the Ogden home too.
King's Rest.
That rest home. I've got a picture of Reed and I on when Reed come home from his mission. I was only about 1 or 2, and that home is in the background of the picture that we.
Oh, is it?
That,
They took a lot of pictures. I must have 5 or 6 different pictures of that home.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the kind of home that you wanted to photograph. It was.
Well, that was the big home across the street
Yeah.
from Grandpa's. Billy Johnson home, they used to call it.
Did they?
We used to deliver milk to Billy Johnson there, and that was the Johnson home.
So the small house that Thomas came back to, that he owned on Main Street, that you said, where about was that?
Oh, about 2nd South Main. It was on the west side of the street.
On the west side. Okay.
Yeah. Had a screen porch, as I remember.
That's about. Isn't the Coke plant on about 2nd South? About.
No, I don't know the coal plants now. It's way out in the industrial park, but.
Yeah, now it is.
But I don't know whether it used to be there on Main Street or not.
But their house was on the west side of the street.
The house that Grandpa came back to when he was sick, and he must have been. Oh, that was. I know he died
it was shortly
shortly
before he died. Yeah, he
died.
came back here for only a few months and then died.
Yeah.
So your father's farm was where?
758 North 6th East.
North 6th East.
Way out to the end of the road.
Go out to Glenwood Road?
Go to the depot and then go north to the end of the road.
Go to the depot.
Where the depot used to be.
And that's down by the fairgrounds?
No, the fairgrounds is farther south.
Okay.
The depot used to be at the end of Center Street.
Oh, okay. Down there where Peterson Plumbing is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then straight north, at the end of the road is where
Okay.
where my dad used to live, where the dairy was.
All right.
Now, the lady that you interviewed or talked to in Springville, that's another sister.
We talked to your sister a few months before she died, up in Springville. What a sweet lady.
Shirley.
Shirley. That's her name.
Shirley's, as you go north from 89 through Gunnison, about 5 miles north of Gunnison, there's a big dairy farm. They have milk 100 cows 3 times a day. And that is Shirley's oldest daughter.
Oh, she lives in Fayette.
Well, it's just out of Fayette.
Just
they
out of
call it
Fayette?
Fayette.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's north of Fayette, about 5 miles.
I've met her too.
Lorna. She and I claim each other as sisters. I didn't have a little sister, and she didn't have a big sister. So we claim each other as sisters.
Might as well, yeah.
Yeah, they're sisters. After my mother died, I spent a lot of time with Shirley and Ephraim. And they'd send me up there for the summer to spend a couple months, when I was nobody to tend me, nobody to take care of me, and they'd send me up to live with Shirley. So. Yeah.
Which Ogden farmed south of town, east of town there, out towards Glenwood? You know where Charlie's house is? Somewhere out in that area.
Yeah.
Is there an Ogden that farmed out that way? Maybe.
I don't know that
No,
Ogden
right.
that farmed out that way. There could be some, though. Charlie lives out in the middle there of.
Yes, he does.
Of the area.
Nice place.
Yeah. How does Charlie feel?
I think he feels okay.
Does he feel pretty good?
He's got a lot to do. And his wife was gone with her parents, so we didn't get to see her.
Mm-hmm.
But he's always so hospitable to us.
Melanie.
Melanie.
She's always got her little dog in her arms.
At least one.
Whenever the McAllisters get together, you know. Why, I'm generally there with the McAllisters.
Uh-huh. A good family.
With my daughter.
Uh-huh. Is her husband still a bishop?
Yes, for 6 years now.
Oh. Well, he's paid his dues.
They think any time. They thought last Sunday they'd have word conference and he might be released, but he's still the bishop. He's gone to the temple today with a couple from his ward that were going for the first time, and
That's good.
they went up Thursday up to Manti to help them get temple clothes and things, get ready to go, and they took them today. They went today.
That's
So,
good.
yeah, she's still the bishop's wife, and she takes care of me, bless her heart.
She's a good person.
I don't know what I'd do without her.
Holly is, yeah, she's busy.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. And yeah, he's still the bishop. Last July was when he was put in. It's been 6 years in July now. Coming up.
Wow. Okay.
And
Well,
that's a good
That's a
time
good
for a
term.
bishop.
Yep, that's a good term.
I say he must be a good one or they'd released him sooner.
Yeah, they would have. They would have.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've talked long enough. We
Oh,
don't
hey.
want to wear you out.
I tried to get a key for the relic hall.
Uh-huh.
Julianne must be out of town.
Oh, okay.
I called her sister-in-law and she said she has a back problem that she's seeing a doctor in St. George. I called her daughter-in-law, Julie's daughter-in-law, and she said that their ball team's in town and that her great-grandson is playing ball. So I kept trying, and I've got her cell number, and I've even tried that,
Oh, thank you for that.
and I can't find a...
Now, we're going to come back in 2 weeks,
Good.
so maybe we could connect then.
Well, good. I was hoping we could connect so that I could take him.
Oh, I know. I'm
Relic
anxious
hall.
to see